My dear brothers and sisters, you who are tired, you who have been waiting, you who have cried in silence when no one was watching, I speak to you now. You are God's chosen one. You have been chosen, not abandoned. This is a truth that must settle deep within your soul, because life has tried to tell you otherwise. People have walked away, and in their silence you thought God had walked away too. Doors have slammed shut, and you assumed heaven was closed as well. You prayed, and the delay made you feel as if you were forgotten. But I tell you today with full authority, God does not abandon what He chooses. Before you were formed in your mother's womb, He knew you. Not just your name, but your purpose, your trials, your victories, your scars. He knew the path you would walk, and still He chose you. He didn't choose you because you were strong. He chose you knowing you would fall so that His strength could be perfected in your weakness. He didn't choose you because you had all the answers. He chose you knowing that in your brokenness you would seek Him with all your heart. The enemy wants you to think you've been left behind. That's why the loneliness stings so much. That's why your mind battles you in the night, telling you that you're invisible, unworthy, and too far gone. But the devil is a liar. The pain you've walked through was not proof of abandonment. It was the evidence of a divine refining. You were never alone. You were being shaped, pruned, tested, molded, not to break you, but to prepare you. Many were called, but few were chosen. And to be chosen is not always comfortable. It often means rejection by the world so that you can be aligned with heaven. It means isolation because intimacy with God sometimes requires separation from people. It means walking through valleys where no one claps for you, no one understands you, and still you must move forward in faith. That is what it means to be chosen. It's not glamorous. It's sacred. You were chosen to carry something greater than yourself. Chosen to speak when others are silent. Chosen to stand when others bow. Chosen to endure so that others may see Christ through your life. You are a living testimony in the making, and the trials you've endured are not in vain. They are the very fire that's forging your spiritual authority. You were not abandoned when they walked away. You were protected. You were not abandoned when the answer was delayed. You were being taught patience and trust. You were not abandoned when the crowd disappeared. God was making space to speak to you alone. When everything is stripped away, when you have no platform, no applause, no support, that's when you discover what can never be taken, the choosing of God, and that is enough. His calling does not expire. His hand does not tremble. His voice does not forget your name. You are not here by accident. You are still breathing because your assignment is not yet finished. You are not disqualified. You are not cast aside. You have been chosen, not abandoned. Every closed door was divine protection, not rejection. You may not have seen it at the time. In fact, you may have cried over it, begged for it to open, even questioned your worth because of it. But what you called rejection, heaven called rescue. What you thought was a missed opportunity was God shielding you from what would have destroyed you if He had allowed it. His silence was not absence, it was strategy. His denial was not cruelty, it was mercy. You were ready to walk into that job, that relationship, that platform, that moment, thinking it was your breakthrough. You had the plans drawn out. You even prayed over it. But when the door didn't open, you felt unworthy. You asked, Lord, did I fail you? Was I not good enough? No, child, it wasn't that you failed. It's that He knew what was behind that door, and He loved you too much to let you enter it. God sees what you cannot. He sees the trap behind the opportunity. He sees the heartbreak behind the attraction. He sees the delay hidden in what looks like progress. We see what glitters. He sees what's grounded in truth. And so, out of love, He closes the door, not because He doesn't want to bless you, but because He wants to bless you rightly. The wrong door can lead to years of regret. The right door will align with your destiny. Some of the doors you wanted most were tied to people who were not meant to go where God is taking you. He knew that if He let you in, they would have had access to your next level, and that would have corrupted the assignment. He knew that if He gave you that stage before your character was ready, the weight of success would have crushed you. So, in His infinite wisdom, He said, no, not this one. Rejection bruises the ego, but divine protection strengthens the soul. Every no has preserved you for the yes that truly matters. Every silence has deepened your trust. Every disappointment has taught you to hear his voice clearer. And sometimes it's not that you weren't ready, but that the door wasn't worthy of you. It didn't honor the oil on your life. It didn't respect the calling on your spirit. So God shut it, and he didn't ask for your permission to do so. He is not in the business of giving you what is convenient. He gives what is consecrated. And some doors, though appealing to the flesh, are poison to the spirit. That's why he blocked them. That's why he delayed them. That's why he rerouted you when you thought you were going the right way. You didn't lose anything. You were spared. You didn't miss out. You were hidden, because what's coming is not just another door. It's the right door, and when it opens, you'll see clearly. Every closed door was divine protection, not rejection. This is the final test before the final breakthrough. Not everyone reaches this point. Many give up in the middle. Many turn back at the edge of their promise. But you have made it this far, not by accident, not by luck, but because the hand of God has sustained you through every fire, every storm, and every silent season. Now you stand at the threshold of something greater, and what you are facing is not punishment, it is preparation. It is the last test before God releases what he has already ordained for you. This test feels heavier, not because you're weaker, but because what's coming is weighty with purpose. You've passed through trials before, but this one is different. It's quieter, more personal. It's not about the battles around you. It's about the war within. This is the test that determines whether you truly trust the God you speak about, whether your worship remains loud when no one is listening, whether your obedience holds firm when there's no guarantee of reward. God tests not to destroy, but to refine. The gold must pass through fire before it shines. The soldier must be tested before entering the battlefield. You are being tested not because you're failing, but because you're called to carry something greater, called to walk in influence, to lead, to intercede, to stand in places others can't. But to walk in that power, you must first prove your surrender. This final test will challenge your patience. It will expose the hidden corners of pride. It will ask you to give when you feel empty, to believe when nothing changes, to forgive when no apology comes. And in those moments, the enemy will whisper lies. You've been forgotten. You've wasted your time. It's over. But those are the final cries of a defeated foe, because he knows, if you pass this test, you step into territory he cannot touch. God is watching not only your actions, but your attitude. He is watching how you speak in the silence, how you move in the waiting, how you trust him in the delay. Anyone can praise him on the mountaintop, but can you worship in the cave? Can you obey when nothing makes sense? Can you stay faithful when the door is still shut? This is not the time to break down. This is the time to stand up. You're not being buried, you're being planted. And just like the seed feels the pressure of the soil before it breaks through the ground, so too will you feel the weight of this moment before the release. But if you hold on, if you press in, if you remain faithful in this final stretch, the breakthrough will not just come, it will overwhelm you, because you are not being tested for what you've done wrong. You're being tested for what you're about to step into. This is the final test before the final breakthrough. God does not open doors for comfort, but for purpose. We often pray for open doors, hoping they will lead to ease, to rest, to a life without struggle. But God is not a designer of comfort zones. He is the author of callings. When he opens a door, it is not to pamper you. It is to propel you. He opens doors that align with your divine assignment, not your temporary feelings. He is far more concerned with your destiny than with your convenience. The doors that God opens will stretch you. They will pull you beyond what you thought you could handle. They will require courage, obedience, and sacrifice. They may lead you into rooms where you are the least qualified by man's standards, but the most anointed by God's design, and that is the point. He opens doors not to make you comfortable, but to make you useful. Not to elevate your ego, but to activate your purpose. When God opened the Red Sea for Moses, it wasn't to make life easy. It was to lead a nation to freedom. When God opened the prison doors for Paul and Silas, it wasn't so they could go home and rest. It was to awaken a jailer and his household to salvation. When he opened the door for Esther into the king's palace, it wasn't for her luxury. It was to position her to save her people. Every door God opens carries the weight of responsibility, the fire of refinement, and the urgency of heaven's mission. That's why some doors you prayed for didn't open, because they would have led to comfort without growth. God is too wise to bless you in ways that would hinder your maturity. He's not going to open a door that allows you to settle when He's called you to soar. If the door you're asking for doesn't lead to purpose, He will keep it shut, even if you pound on it with tears. Because His love is not measured by how easy your life is, it's measured by how faithful He is in guiding you toward what lasts. Comfort can become a trap. It can lull you into spiritual sleep, distract you with temporary pleasures, and keep you from ever stepping into the boldness of your calling. But purpose awakens you. Purpose makes you move when fear says stop. Purpose demands that you grow, that you forgive, that you lead, that you pray when no one sees. So when God opens a door, understand, He is inviting you into something bigger than yourself. It may cost you. It may strip you of your plans. It may push you into places where all you have is your faith. But it will be worth it. Because every door God opens is tied to eternal purpose. It is not for your comfort. It is for your calling. It is not to make life easier. It is to make your life count. When this door opens, walk through with obedience, not pride. The opportunity you've been praying for, the moment you've been waiting on, the breakthrough that's been promised, it will come. But how you enter it will determine how long you stay in it. Many are praying for open doors, but few are preparing their hearts to walk through them the right way. Pride wants to claim the credit, but obedience gives the glory back to God. When the door finally opens, it's not the time to boast. It's the time to bow. Pride whispers, "You earned this." But obedience says, "God, I'm still following your lead." Pride steps in with confidence in self, but obedience steps in with confidence in God. Pride wants to showcase the outcome, but obedience remembers the process. You didn't get here on your own. It was the grace of God that kept you, the mercy of God that covered you, and the power of God that opened what no man could open. Don't let your feet cross the threshold with arrogance in your heart. God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble. If you enter this next season thinking you are the reason for your own elevation, that door will become a snare instead of a blessing. Obedience is what brought you this far, and obedience is what will sustain you. It was obedience in the small things, obedience in the silence, obedience when no one was clapping, that positioned you for this divine opening. God honors the heart that remains surrendered even after the blessing comes. This door is not a reward, it's a responsibility. It comes with weight. It comes with unseen battles. It comes with pressure that only humility can carry. If you walk in thinking you have arrived, you will fall. But if you walk in saying, "Lord, not my will, but yours be done," then heaven will back you in every step. God didn't open this door just to give you a platform. He opened it to fulfill His purpose through your life. People may celebrate you, some may envy you, others may follow you, but your eyes must remain fixed on the one who made a way where there was no way. Every decision must still be filtered through His word. Every move must still be submitted in prayer. Just because the door is open doesn't mean the journey is over. It means the assignment has begun. And the deeper you go into purpose, the more dangerous pride becomes. Let your obedience be louder than your applause. Let your dependence on God grow stronger with every step. Don't forget the tears that watered this moment. Don't forget the nights you almost quit. Don't forget who sustained you when no one else understood you. The door is not the end, it's the next chapter. And if you walk through it with obedience, not pride, you will not only enter, but you will endure. If you miss this door, you delay your destiny, not God's will, but your readiness. God's will is perfect. It does not change. What He has spoken over your life remains established in heaven. But your ability to walk in it depends on your obedience, your sensitivity, and your readiness. God is faithful to present the door, but He will not force you through it. He calls, He prepares, He opens. But if you are not spiritually alert, emotionally mature, or obedient in heart, the moment may pass, not because God changed his mind, but because you weren't positioned to move. Many blame God for missed seasons, when in reality, it was not his plan that shifted, it was their posture. God's timing is exact, but your preparation determines whether or not you can seize that divine moment. When the Israelites stood at the border of the promised land, the land was ready, but they were not. Their fear, their murmuring, their disobedience caused them to turn back. And because they weren't ready to walk in what God had already given, they wandered for 40 more years. The promise didn't vanish, the door wasn't destroyed, but the delay came, not to God's plan, but to their destiny. God is merciful, he will bring the opportunity again, but understand this truth: every missed door delays more than a blessing. It delays the souls tied to your assignment. It postpones the impact you were meant to have. It interrupts the chain reaction that your obedience would have triggered. The cost of hesitation is not just personal, it's generational. When you're not ready, others wait longer to receive what God wanted to release through you. Some doors are time sensitive. They require courage in the moment. They require faith that overrides fear. If you're still clinging to comfort or hiding behind excuses, you might watch the door swing open and close again, not because God is punishing you, but because readiness matters. God will never pour oil on a vessel that isn't clean. He will never send you into rooms where your character cannot sustain your calling. This is why spiritual discipline matters. This is why prayer matters. This is why surrender matters. You're not just waiting for God to move, you're being molded so that when he does, you can carry what he places in your hands. Don't mistake delay for denial. Don't mistake God's silence for his absence. He's preparing you, but you must cooperate. You must be watchful. You must be willing. Your destiny is too important to keep circling the same mountain. The time is coming when the door will open again, and when it does, you must be ready, not just in ambition, but in character, not just in desire, but in discipline. The door is not just an opportunity, it is an assignment. And if you miss it, it's not God who changes. It's you who needs to be changed to try again.